All right, guys, so today we're going to start Unit 2, number operations. We're going to get into fractions, decimals, whole numbers, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to start out actually with a review of some adding and subtracting with fractions. So you're going to need that yellow handout that you picked up when you came in today. And we're going to go through and you can, again, pause, rewind, rewatch if you need to, and we'll kind of take it at your own pace and kind of clear out the cobwebs from past years. So when we're adding fractions, if you take a look here, right, we're adding fractions in A, B, C, D. They all have that addition symbol. If you look right here in A, right, we have a common denominator. That's awesome when we have a common denominator. But down here, things change a little bit, and then we get into a mixed number. So when we're adding fractions, the first thing that we need to do, all right, is we need to remember to make all our whole numbers or mixed numbers into improper fractions. So we know how to do that, right? If it is, let's say, 5, we can put it over 1. If it's down here, right, and we can do this if we get a mixed number. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9/4, right? And we'll do that when we get down to this one anyways, okay? So we have to remember, we got to keep that in mind and always do that first. Up here it says rewrite each fraction with a common denominator. Now if you finish the quiz or test early on Friday, you watched a preview video, kind of review video about common denominators. Common denominators, right? You just want to think, now what is going on here? Common denominator is really just finding the LCM of the denominators, and that's your new common denominator. Okay? So we'll talk about that in a second. We're going to add the numerators. The denominator stays the same. If the answer is improper fraction, we're going to change it to a mixed number and make sure that the fraction piece is always simplified. All right, so let's try one here. And again, we're going back to these steps. So I know I just went through these steps pretty quickly, but this is something we need to refer back to. These are our steps for adding fractions. So let's take a look at A. We got 12/5 plus 8/5. Well, if I look, it says change any whole numbers or mixed numbers to improper fractions. We already have them. They're both fractions, so we're good. Rewrite each fraction with a common denominator. Love it. Look, they're both common denominators, so we're good. We can keep moving. Add the numerators. Okay, 12 plus 8. We can do that. 12 plus 8 equals 20. Keep the denominators the same, so 5 and 5 is 5. If the answer is improper, change it to a mixed number. Well, in this case, we can do that. Let's see, 20 divided by 5. It's not going to be a mixed number. It's going to end up being a whole number of 4. All right. Now let's go to B. Over here, it says change them all to fractions. Well, we already got fractions, so we're good. Rewrite them with a common denominator. Uh-oh. So now I look and I say, ooh, okay, I have a 3 and I have a 5. What's their common denominator, their least common denominator? So what I'm really going to do is I'm going to find an LCM of 3 and 5. Now, if we know our facts, we probably already know it. 6, 9, 12, 15, and I know 5 is going to go into 15. So our LCM of these two is going to be 15. So I'm going to go down here, I'm going to rewrite this as 15. Now, I know if I would take these fractions times 1, they would stay the same. 3/5 times 1 is 3/5. 2/3 times 1 is 2/3, sorry. So we're going to take it times an equivalent fraction, right? An equivalent fraction. And we're going to use this denominator. So we're going to think to ourselves, let's see, 5 times what is going to give us that 15? That's 3. So we're going to take this times 3/3, right? So 5 times 3 is 15. 3 times 3 is 9. Notice 3/3 is a whole. Over here we're going to do the same thing. This time 3 times what is 15? We're going to do 5/5. Now notice how I'm showing my work. Same thing. You want to make sure you show your work. Now take a look. Now we have common denominators. We can just add across. So we got 19. Denominator stays the same, 15ths. If the answer is improper, change it to a mixed number. Okay, well let me think. 19 divided by 15. 15 will go into 19 one whole time. And I'd have 4 left over 15. And that is simplified. All right. How about you pause the video and try this one on your own, see what you come up with. Make sure we go back to our notes. All right, so you pause the video and you've tried this. So we look and we say, well, they're both fractions, but we don't have a common denominator. So we're going to find a common denominator of 8 and 12. So that's just finding their least common multiple. And you'll see it's 24. Okay, so we're going to rewrite that, 24. Let's see, 12 times what was 24? So we're going to multiply this by something equivalent to a whole, because we need 3 12s to stay equivalent to 3 12s. But we're going to multiply it by whatever 12 times what is 24. In this case, it's 2. So we're going to take the top. So 2 over 2 is equivalent to 1 whole, right? 12 times 2 is 24. 3 times 2 is 6. Notice that whatever we multiplied the bottom, the denominator by, we're going to multiply the numerator by. Over here, let's see, 8 times 3 is 24, so we're going to do 3/3, we're going to get 3. And I came up with 9/24. Now, if you got that, great. How many of us simplified this? Because I know that 9 and 24, right, I need to find, in order to write it simplified, I need to find their GCF. And I know that the factors of 9 are 1, 9, and 3, or 3 times 3. 9 can't go into 24, 3 can, so I think that's the GCF of 9 and 24. I'm going to divide both sides, both numerator and denominator by that, and I'm going to get this down to 3/8. And that's our simplest form of 9/24. Okay? The last one here is just a little bit different. So notice up here, when adding fractions, first change whole numbers or mixed numbers to improper fractions. So the first thing we need to do is change this. So we're going to do 4 times 2 is 8. Plus 1 is 9/4. 3 times 3 is 9. Plus 2 is 11/3. So first thing I've done is I've changed them to improper fractions. Now we can focus on, what's going on here? Now we can focus on the next part. So let's see, do I have a common denominator? I do not. But looking at this, 4 and 3, now again, I can go over here and set this up. Hopefully we recall our facts and we can say, well, this would be 4, 8, 12. Right? Because now we're just using our LCM of these two to find the common denominator. Right? So I'm going to get 12 as the new denominator. Let's see. 3 times what is 12? 4. So I'm going to multiply this by 4/4. 3 times 4 is 12. 11 times 4 is 44. Over here, 4 times what is 12? 3. So I'm going to do 3/3. That's 27. Ooh, this one's getting a little interesting, isn't it? So we got 44 plus 27. Now again, if I'm going too fast, slow down, rewatch. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I got 71/12. So now we got to recall our 12's times tables, right? Because I need to figure out how many times can 12 go into 71, because this is an improper fraction. And it says up here, if the answer is improper, change it to a mixed number and make sure we simplify it. So let's see, 12 goes into, oh, I got it. 12 times 5 is 60, and I'd had 11 left over 12. Whoops. Okay, so 5 and 11/12. Now let's over here, subtraction. Cool thing about it is, same thing. When subtracting fractions, whoops. First change the whole numbers to mixed numbers, or mixed numbers to improper fractions. Got it. Rewrite it with a common denominator. Got it. Remember, I'm going to make a note right here of LCM. Subtract the numerators. Keep the denominators the same. If it's an improper fraction, change it to a mixed number. Make sure the fraction part is simplified. So the cool thing about it is once we know addition, subtraction is not too bad. So let's go over here to this piece. So here I have uncommon denominators, right? So I need to find a common denominator. Well, this is kind of easy. I know 4 is going to go into 16, so 16 is going to be their LCM of these two. And this time it's subtraction. We got to make sure we remember it's subtraction. Let's see, 4 times 4 is 16, so I'm going to multiply this by 4/4. Over here, I'm going to multiply this by 1/1. Right? 16 times 1 is 16. Now I'm subtracting these two. We have to make sure we subtract, and we got 7/16. That is simplest form because 7 is a prime number and 7 can't go into 16. Over here we got 6 and 8. Again, I'm going to set up my table if I need to. 6 and 8. I know my facts. I know 6 times 4 is 24, and I know 8 times 3 is 24, so their least common multiple is going to be 24. I'm subtracting, right? 6 times 4 is 24, so I'm going to multiply this by 4/4. 8 times 3 is 24, so I'm going to multiply this by 3/3. 4 times 7 is 28. 3 times 3 is 9. I'm subtracting, and I'm going to get 19/24. Okay, go ahead and pause it and try this one. Going crazy here. Hold on a second. Whoops. Sorry, guys. All right. So down here, let's go down to this one. So first I'm going to change any mixed numbers to improper fractions. I got 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4 is 9/5, minus 1/4. Let's see, 5 and 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 20, I would say. So 4 can go into 20, so let's do 20. 5 times 4 is 20, so 9 times 4 is 36. 4 times 5 is 20, so I'm going to do 5/5. This would be 5. Remember, I'm subtracting, and I'm going to get 31/20. Whoa. 31/20. Now, please recall and slow down and think about what I'm doing here, and look at how I'm setting up my work. This is how our work's shown. We're not going across the paper the whole way. We're going up and down, right? So let's see. 20 goes into 31 one time, because it says back up here, if the answer ends up being improper, change it to a mixed number. And we're going to have 11 left out of 20. And the last one. If you want to pause it right here, go ahead, try it out, see what you get. And then let's go ahead. So we got 7 times 2, 14, 15, 16, 17 sevenths. Three halves, right? Now let's see, my factors, my multiples of 7, 7, 14, oh, 2 can go into 14, so I'd say that's it. I'm subtracting. 7 times 2 is 14, so I'm going to do 2 over 2 because that's equivalent to 1. It doesn't change the actual value of this. 2 times 17 is 34. 2 times 7, 3 times 7, that's 21. Because I'm going to subtract. 34 minus 21 is 13, and the denominator is going to stay 14. All right. So hopefully now, and again, you can rewatch this if you want to. If you're still sitting there, you're stuck, go ahead and rewatch it. This is a review from last year or previous years. And I'm sorry, my board's being all goofy today. This is a review from previous years, so just make sure that you keep that in mind. This is nothing brand new, but it's just clearing off the cobwebs. And the biggest thing with addition and subtraction is realizing you have to have a common denominator to even start things. Okay. And then obviously the simplifying piece, which we'll work more and more and more on. So what you're going to do now that you've watched this is you're going to turn to page 82 in your book and complete just 11 through 16. So 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 6 problems. And I want your work to be quality work in your notebook. Quality work in your notebook. So you're numbering your problems. You're starting with the heading of page 82. You're numbering your problems. You're setting them up step by step by step. Remember, this video is here to watch. I'm here if you start this and you get stuck. Make sure you see me. But I think you'll be okay. Again, go for it. Let me know if you need me. 6 problems tonight for homework. Go ahead and get started on those now.